Hi, I'm David Gouck,
Kevin Doherty,
and this is Archer Casefiles. Jazz hands! Jazz
Jazz
hands!
hands.
Right, anyway, this is going to be the first of a little mini series that we're going to do. We're going to analyse all of the Archer videos from beginning to the very end, which will hopefully be never, because we love Archer and everything about it, which is why we're doing this. Anyway, the first episode is called. Kevin?
The first episode is called Mole Hunt, or some people call it the Mole. Depends where you're from.
Yeah,
Uh,
right.
would you like to go first, David, or shall I?
Well, I think since you're my guest, Kevin, and the co-creator of all this, I think you should go first since we'll kind of alternate it every kind of week. So anyway, hopefully this will lead to more, and hopefully all you internets out there will love it. Like we love discussing the episodes, well, as we always normally do on the book of the face. Anyway, so Kevin, on you go.
Thanks very much, David. The Mole is probably one of the best first episodes to a series I've seen. It lets us know what we're going to get into in a series like this, and ultimately it makes you want to see more of it. The only problem I have with it is that it focuses more on the character Sterling Archer, which isn't a bad thing because he is the main character of the show, and we're gonna be seeing him in practically every single episode. But I feel like it could have used up more breathing space from him and the characters that work alongside him.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, it was a really fun episode and probably worth your time watching. What about you, David?
I do totally agree with you there, Kevin. As I said, I think the first episode of anything has to be about establishing all the characters at the same time without overloading you with information and everything gets confused, if you know what I mean. I would say this episode, it does what it needs to do, introduces you to the world of Archer, introduces you to the world of ISIS, and introduces you to the daily antics that is ISIS and Archer. Um, I would say that the first episode should introduce everybody, but not with everything. It leaves you wanting more, which is what the first episode of anything should do. Which what this episode does very well, because it made me very interested in the character of Archer and the other characters as well, but more in Archer because I kind of see a little bit of James Bond, Sean Connery, in it because I always feel like there's that little hint of that in it because that's where that's set in anyway. It's set in the late 70s, late 80s espionage era, which is you wouldn't think would inundate you with a lot of jokes and humour, but it does, which is really, really good. And the writing in it is fantastic. It's just so light-hearted and so upbeat, but it gives you that little bit of comedy and a little bit of action, and it gives you a little bit of everything that you like to see from this type of show, which is like an action comedy, which you don't really see that often anymore, which I was really glad to see. The animation style is its own style, which I found really refreshing, and it's like kind of to me it's a shout back to the Archie comics of the late 90s, where it was that kind of like streamlined form, and it's more like
Oh
lifelike.
yeah, I do see the similarities there. Actually, I never actually thought of that.
I came up with that 2 seconds ago. Huzzah! A little known fact: did you know Stan Lee worked in Archie? Oh, Stan Lee's my god, secondary only to Archer. Anyway, the episode, The Mole, I think it could have done a little bit better, but it does what it needs to do, introduces everything and everyone at the same time without doing too much and overloading you with information.
hmm Also, what I also like about the episode, what I forgot to mention was that they don't force in, even though despite the fact Archer is the main focus on the episode, they don't force you what his character is in your face. That it lets the audience find out for themselves what kind of person he is, because just by looking at him, you can tell that despite him being a looks of a gentleman, he also you can tell he's a jerk just by looking at him as well, because he does have that Charlie Sheen look as well, perhaps.
Yeah, well, he's got that drunkenness and like aberration about him anyway, which we all know Charlie Sheen as winning. Anyway, I think we'll go to the ratings part of this video anyway now, which is we rate the episode from 1, which is inner ear tinnitus, which is absolutely terrible, to number 7, danger zone.
Yeah.
Which is going to be like full of testosterone and explosions and man beating action. So, Kevin, you rate the episode first since you're my guest.
Thank you very much. Mulholland is a very good introduction to the series. It does what it needs to do. Give you a good laugh, but also good storytelling as well, and good character introductions, but it lacks in more focus on a bit more characters. But overall, I'll give it a 4 out of 7. Um, column A, column B. It just depends how you view the episode.
Yeah, well, I would kind of agree with that. I think it's more of a 3 because it's more of a build up episode. It lays the foundation for other things to come. So I would give it 3. It needs more science. Overall, we'd give it a 3.5 out of 7, which is okay for a first episode of anything. So join us next week. I'm David Gouck.
I'm Kevin Dougherty.
And jazz hands!
Jazz hands!